Hello everyone, welcome to Scorch Your Toys at Anymoon.com's transformation guide from Battroid back to fighter mode of Bandai's DX VF-171 toys. You've had your toy on the shelf for a little while, you don't want to go dig out the instructions? Well, I'm here to help. If you have an VF-171 toy, begin by applying a little pressure up in the back and then fishing out that radar array. You're going to go ahead and pop off this extra piece and put the array aside for later. For all other toys, you would just bring the toy around and pop up the back like so, and then go ahead and extend those hinges out. On the RVF toy, you can go ahead and extend those hinges as well. And if you wanted to at this point, put them out, you could also just go ahead and remove this radar array, and it would be just like transforming a normal toy after that, or you could just pivot it up and away to try to get yourself some more clearance. Now we're going to kind of break the spine of the toy, and you're going to do that by bringing the leg swing bar back. So it was forward, now it's back, and then we're going to unhinge it right here with just a little pop and pull, and there you go. Now that's freed up too, and you're going to be more mobile as you move forward. Now we're going to go ahead and bring the cockpit down, so push up on the little black support, bring the cockpit down, and then looking inside of your kind of chest cavity here, there's a flap here that we're going to want to bring forward and a flap that we're going to want to push back. So you're going to need those in the right position as we move forward. The next step is probably the hardest to film, but kind of easily discussed. We want to move the head to rotate around on the platform it is on. And you're not going to have a whole lot of room at certain junctures. So you're going to have to kind of move the toy around. And there you go. Now I've got it backwards and it's very tight on the face. But if I move certain things around, it'll be less tight. So there you go. Now that is in the proper position as well. And the next step is probably the trickiest step of going back. You want to make sure these flaps are out to begin with. Then there is that gray flap on the interior here. We need to fish that through into the head of Battroid mode. So you're going to just bring your finger underneath and push it up. And you want to make sure you get it into the head. Now I've got pull up a little bit there. Alright, so now you can see that flap is coming through and it's in the head. And now we can go ahead and start bringing the chest back. Push this flap in. Again, make sure that stays out. See, I've lost my gray bar there. Just gotta make sure that is in. There we go. This part then goes in, and the chest comes down and locks into place, and then you can go ahead and bring the back up too, and you can see we are getting towards gear walk mode. Here's that same step from below with the RVF, and I just wanted to show you these flaps here, if they're down all the way, can be an impediment to bringing that chest down. So that's why you wanted to make sure that those things were up, because then everything should just slide right into place. So definitely watch those flaps as you make that step. Alright, it's a fairly quick shot from here to gear walk mode. You're going to go ahead and fish out the connector from here, and then you're going to go ahead and rotate your legs over. There are black triangles here, so if you are going to go straight to fighter mode, be very cautious that you don't crunch those. We're going to go to gear walk mode, so it'll be less of an issue. Let's go ahead and bring up our gear walk joint. Let's go ahead and fold over our nose cone now. We'll fine tune it in a moment, but that's good. Now there's a little bit of a nuance to putting the intakes back into position. So we're connecting the backpack, and now the intakes need to be perfectly straight to collapse inside like that. And once they have done that, you can go ahead and tighten them up and put them into position. And there you go. You can see we've pretty much made it to gear walk mode. Let's go ahead and extend our legs. And now we can tighten up our nose cone and do a little bit of fine tuning. All right, let's do some fine tuning. We're going to go ahead and push the nose cone in towards the body. That'll lock it in there. Well, lock being a generous phrase. Get the arms into about the proper position. Pull the feet out and get them into gear walk mode stance. You're going to want to pop the wings open, which I recommend you doing upside down so you don't lose any pegs. You would notice if they shot out if it was upside down. And then we have to bring down this backpack piece there. And there you go. Now you are in gear walk mode. For the VF-171, go ahead and find your array, get it straight. You can go ahead and move that antenna up and then flip the toy over. You've got pegs, you've got slots. You're just going to go ahead and put it in and then angle it back as far as you can. And that is how the VF-171 will be in gear walk mode. Now again, fine tuning, make sure everything's in the proper spot, and there you go. Alright, so we're going to begin transformation to fighter mode. With the VF-171, you're going to do just what you did with Battroid mode. Go ahead and remove that lower array, if for no other reason than protecting these little spiky bits. Then, no matter which toy you got, go ahead and recess these shoulder black pieces. You're not going to need those going forward. Alright, now we're going to work on getting that hand slid in. So first thing we're going to do is extend the arm at the elbow. Then we're going to open the lock. Then we're going to spin the hand around so that the back of the hand is in line with the lock. We're going to bring the thumb in. And then we're just going to push it back. And you can push everything down once it's already in. And go ahead and close the lock. And you are all done. Just repeat on the other side. Now we're going to adjust the shoulders. We had them pivoted out for gear walk and Battroid mode. Now we're just going to bring them straight down for turning around in fighter mode. Alright, now we're at the tricky step of going back to fighter mode. Pull your wings in. Make sure you don't lose any pegs when you do it. You can see that wing is very loose. Let's go ahead and pump that in. Turn the toy to the side. If these have popped out or anything, make sure you've got those little black pieces recessed in there. Now your arm you want to be straight forward, but you want to angle it back at that joint there and have it be straight. And then you're going to bring it around and up. And you're going to bring the whole thing over. Now as you come over, you want to bring this piece, this triangle, forward. A wiggle jiggle action. Now I've got that shoulder in place. Now ideally your arm will be fairly well lined up as well. And you know you're doing it all right if you don't have many gaps. So that looks pretty close. We're going to latch it on in just a moment. Repeat on the other side. This next step's a little bit tricky. It might be easier for you if you pop off the intake in question. Give yourself a little bit more room. We need to get these black triangles out. They might be a little difficult to see. So they fold upon themselves, and then they need to clear the shoulder armor and come out on the other side, which hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. So that is definitely not the easiest thing to do. Once you get it through, just peg in your intake again. Alright, now let's get our legs in fighter mode. We're just going to close them and retract them, like so. We're going to retract the knee joint as well. We're going to rotate, kind of pull this part out, and then there's holes in the thighs that go into pegs in that locking mechanism. And we're going to go ahead, let's fold our wings out first. Now when you fold your wings out, kind of important you make sure that they are in the shoulder grooves. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and bring these legs back, and we're going to attach this slot to that peg right there and get around that peg right here as well. And you can see there's a little gear walk extension that happens to help you out a little bit. And then it pegs right into place. Looking at the back, we want to get that straightened out. And it will also peg right into the back plate. do that with the other leg as well. If you're trying to rotate your leg to point the landing gears down, but it's rotating at this thigh point, it means you haven't totally retracted the leg. Once it's totally retracted, it will rotate below the knee. If you're having a hard time getting the gear walk joint down, past this point here, try fishing in a finger and lifting up a little with the top of your finger as you bring it down. Now, when you peg the legs in individually like I did, you're going to end up with some slop here, so just make sure those legs attach to each other as well by pressing in as you press up, and they should tighten up. You should see them pretty firmly together, like so. When you're going to lock your arms in place, make sure you don't have a head laser locked underneath your arm. The last step is to get the arms connected, and it's not the easiest thing to do. There's a slot here, a peg right there, and then another peg on the other side. The trick is to get the first peg in on the interior, and then lean the arm, and you'll hear it click. And there you go. I've already done that on the other side. Make sure your wings are tight. View the toy from all angles. You might have popped something out like I did with the legs there. But there you go. You're back in fighter mode. For owners of the VF-171, once you get it back into fighter mode, as you see here, you need to flip the toy over and once again reinstall this ELINT array. You're going to peg it in just like you have every other time, and then you could, if you want to, fold it over, deploy your landing gears, and you are in fighter mode. Congratulations everyone, you're back in fighter mode. Be sure to check out my full review on anymoon.com, and as always, thanks for watching.